WLNS is here for you, celebrating 75 years of bringing you the news with 6 News at 11.
SNAP recipients may be facing another challenge coming from the federal level. It's our top story at 11. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rachel Ramsey. United States Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins says the Trump administration is planning to have all SNAP beneficiaries reapply for the program. The change is due to alleged fraud. The secretary says after receiving data on SNAP recipients from 29 red states, 186,000 of those recipients are dead. Rollins says the reapplication process will help the department fundamentally rebuild the program, making sure that every person getting SNAP benefits is actually vulnerable and can't survive without the program. President Trump is parting ways with a once loyal ally, Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. This strained relationship comes as the push intensifies for the Justice Department to release all Jeffrey Epstein files. CBS News' Willie James Inman has the latest.
President Trump says he will no longer support Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, calling the Congresswoman from Georgia, who had once been his staunch supporter, wacky. In a social media post on Friday night, the president took aim at Greene and said all she does is complain, complain, complain.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is not anyway, she is a very different thinking than I have. Something happened to her over the last period of a month or two where she changed, I think, politically. I think that her constituents aren't going to be happy.
The president's negative comments about Greene come as she continues to push for the Justice Department to release all files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
These women have been waiting, some of them for decades. I talked to several victims that were raped by Jeffrey Epstein back in the 90s. And so this is information that has needed to come out for a very long time, and the American people have demanded it.
House Speaker Mike Johnson said Wednesday that a bill that calls for the release of all the Justice Department's Jeffrey Epstein case files will be put to a vote next week.
Meanwhile, a number of restrictions that were imposed because of the record-breaking government shutdown are being lifted this weekend.
The FAA began rolling back mandated cuts to flights throughout the country. Museums in the nation's capital and the National Zoo also began reopening this weekend. And SNAP food assistance that have been put on hold for the month of November because of the shutdown are expected to be released in the next week. Willie James Inman, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
There was a fire this morning at a Quality Dairy in Lansing Township. Officials say the flames broke out around 7:15 a.m. and were caused by an old electrical line that wasn't properly taken care of. The store is located on South Waverly Road by West St. Joseph Street. Officials say no one was hurt and the building will remain closed until it is safe. Michigan's Department of Civil Rights is now investigating the East Lansing Police Department after receiving a certified complaint. The department is also reviewing 2 other complaints. 6 News has learned the complaint was filed by Lonnie Smith, one of 2 men pepper sprayed during MSU's Welcome Weekend in front of Dave's Hot Chicken. Last week, both of these men filed federal lawsuits against the city of East Lansing Police Chief Jennifer Brown, and Officer Andrew Lyon. The lawsuits accuse the department of false arrest, excessive force, and for having a policy and culture that treats minorities differently. 6 News has been following this story. You can read more about it on our website, WLNS.com. Well, environmental groups and tribes recently filed a brief with the state Supreme Court challenging Enbridge Energy's efforts to build an oil pipeline beneath the Straits of Mackinac. In the brief, they urge the court to reverse a decision that approves the plan and to ensure the tunnel project goes through a required rational review by the Michigan Environmental Protection Act. The group says the plan has flaws and risks. Michigan Climate Actions Network's executive director says the project will increase carbon emissions by nearly 30 million tons each year, dramatically worsening climate impacts. Michigan's firearm deer hunting season began today, and to kick it off, many hunters participated in a tradition called a buck pull, where they show off their harvested deer, share stories, and even enter contests. That tradition was brought to Lansing today. Delaney Rogers is here for you now with how it went. Delaney?
Rachel, it was the first time the Coach's Pub and Grill in Lansing hosted a buck pull, and hunters were encouraged to bring their friends and family to enjoy food, live music, sharing hunting stories, and bring in deer they harvested today. The restaurant owner Matthew Gillette says buck pulls tend to be a northern Michigan tradition, and he only started hunting 7 years ago. When it comes to this hunting season, officials are forecasting a strong year, just like last year. They say nearly 180,000 deer were harvested during the first 2 weeks of regular firearm season. Gillette hosted today's event and hopes to bring awareness to the outdoors and get more people involved with hunting, especially young people.
Our first an hour ago, he was a young kid with his grandfather. It's great to see, right? All smiles on his end, and I honestly think the grandfather was more proud of it than he was. But you could just tell by having that interaction that that child was supported by his entire family. This made his day. He's going to be back here tonight, and he's just going to tell great stories all day about how his hunt went. And I think the community that's going to be out here supporting are going to want to hear that story, which is only more motivating for him to stay active in the outdoors as he gets older.
If you're hunting this year, the firearm hunting season ends November 30th, and officials remind hunters to report their harvests to the DNR website.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Well, our high temperatures were anywhere about 15 to 20 degrees above average for where we should be for this time of year. And check out some of our high temperatures that we hit today. Got to 65 in Lansing, 66 to Mason, and 66 degrees as well over in Howell. Now we're going to look at the precision cast for the next few days. You notice that we do have some lake effect snow coming off of Lake Michigan here. That's going to primarily hit the northeast sections of our area, and that's not going to affect us pretty much at all, as we'll just see some lake effect clouds. But as we go into your Sunday night time frame, you notice we still have just a couple of clouds before we clear out completely going into your Monday morning, and then we'll stay clear for just about the entire day on Monday. Going into Tuesday though, that's when we could start to see a mix going into those early morning hours, but not a lot of confidence on that at this time. Going into the later part of the week though, you notice we have better chances of rain going into your late Thursday and Friday time frame. Friday morning, you can see a big area of Michigan is under that green where we have that rain, and that kind of sticks around for the entire day. As you can see, even by 10:30, we still have some light rain falling across the area, but that will move out by Saturday morning. Another big part of the story is those temperatures. Those feel-like temperatures will be in the mid-20s starting tomorrow morning. They won't rebound much. As you can see, we only get into the mid-30s for tomorrow, and as we get into your Monday time frame, temperatures will start off in the low 20s for your feels-like temperatures, and then as we get into the Monday afternoon, we won't rebound much, as it only will get into the upper 30s. So definitely want to bundle up these next few days because it's going to be chilly. Looking at the high temperature trend, well, again, very warm today compared to the next 12 days or so. As we can see, we have a trend that we're going to be in the low 40s for those highs. We rebound slightly going into your Thursday and Friday with some 50s, and then we drop once again into the upper 40s, so we start to level out where we should be for this time of year. And looking at the precipitation outlook for the next 6 to 10 days, we're starting to get closer to Thanksgiving, so we're trying to keep an eye on if we see see any systems in the forecast. And it does look like we could have a few, although it is pretty far out at this time. But the general signal at this time is that we are above average for those precipitation, so that's something we're going to keep an eye on as we get closer to Thanksgiving, of course. Tomorrow's forecast, though, high temperature is going to be in the low 40s, partly cloudy skies with winds coming out of the northwest at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. And looking at that 6-day forecast, you can see that we stick in the low 40s for both Sunday and Monday. Well, mostly sunny skies on your Monday, but then we do have a mix coming in on Tuesday. That'll be primarily in the morning hours, and we should clear out and have some sunshine by the end of your Tuesday. And then looking at Wednesday, we start to rebound slightly as we get into the mid 40s. We'll have mostly cloudy skies for both Wednesday and Thursday. And then you notice by Friday, we get back into the low 50s. We have showers in the forecast. That's when we could see the best chance for the showers in the next 6 days. And of course, that's going to be right around the time we should see the Silver Bells Parade.